Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Good Morning Soul. I'm going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean today, which, some people probably don't give a shit. Some people really don't like Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's fine. That's fine. But, I feel like out of, franchises that get, a bad rep or, a weird stigma attached with it, Pirates of the Caribbean, is one of, the biggest in my mind that I think of immediately. So, Pirates of the Caribbean, has 5 movies in the franchise. Everyone, I think, can agree the first movie kicks all sorts of ass. And then, after that, that's where, all of our differences, differentiate. All of our opinions differentiate, I should say. So, when Pirates of the Caribbean did so great, basically they sat down, they were like, okay, let's make it a trilogy, which they've done for movies such as The Matrix, and they've done it for movies like, The Dark Knight. And with those movies, The Dark Knight, great job. I know some people don't like The Dark Knight Rises, but, let's say it's great for the sake of this argument. And then movies like The Matrix, not so great. So it was weird, I kept hearing the same thing where it was they're making so many Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And I was always just kind of there's 3 of them. Literally for years, that's all I heard was there's so many of them. They're making jokes Pirates of the Caribbean 7. I was just there's 3 of these things. Why do people keep saying this? It's a trilogy. There's just as many fucking Batmans and Matrixes and Toy Stories. People don't talk shit about those movies. And I think part of that might just because they all have different names, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Toto Tales, Heart, fucking At Worlds, blah blah blah. Stranger on the side, who even knows anymore? But really, it's Pirates of the Caribbean's Black Pearl, then it's Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest, then it's Pirates of the Caribbean At World's End. I don't see why that was so hard for people. And it might just be because the plot was kind of convoluted. The third movie fucked up everything. It was easy. There was the first one, and then the second one took it in a whole new direction. I love this franchise, by the way. I love this franchise as much as I love Star Wars. On terms of trilogies. I would put Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy up there with Star Wars. Which I know off the bat people are gonna be what the fuck did he just say? Shut the fuck up. Okay, so it's the same thing. Star Wars is a fucking convoluted story with some really cool personal character moments, and that's why the franchise is great, and some cool effects and visuals and force abilities and shit like that. Pirates of the Caribbean, convoluted fucking thing with a bunch of really cool character moments, and then there's some cool fantasy elements. That's the same fucking shit. But with Pirates of the Caribbean, the second one is where I kind of fell in love with the series. It had this big ass ending that I don't want to spoil, but basically it was how are you gonna do this? And then it was okay, big last scene. The last scene in Dead Man's Chest is fucking great. And the music, it's just fuck other people. It's an amazing movie. It's up there in my it's up there. And then At World's End is where shit got fucked up. So with Dead Man's Chest, it was they're trying to make it so epic, so dark, and that's where it's this franchise is supposed to be fun. It was a board meeting between 5 people, and 3 of them were let's make this really dark, eerie, this is what people want. And then there was 2 people what happened to our franchise that was about having fun? So At World's End is this weird cluster of really funny gags mixed with scenes of children hanging. Like, that's the type of movie it is. And sometimes it gets really weird. Like it tries to mix those things, like the brain licking scene, if people know what I'm talking about. And the fantasy elements got out of control. Like, there was like one or two things that everybody hates, and that's kind of where, which it didn't do anything that was like worse than any other movies. It was just because at that point in the movie, no one, like, people can't even keep track of these fucking characters, and I hate it. Like, I remember when James Norrington died, and people were just like, who is that? And I was like, he's been in the whole fucking franchise. What do you mean, who is that? Like, oh, that was a spoiler, by the way. I'm sorry. But it was like, he was like one of like the top 4 or 5 biggest characters in the first movie that you say you love, that you watch. And then he had like this like whole storyline where he like went rogue and had this whole like his career, like that wasn't like he was just in one scene. Like, he was in the final fight scene. He was like towards his after credits scene where he had this big revelation, and he had this item that he gave to the bad guys, you know, that was kind of like the movie was named after that thing. Like, he's a big fucking character. What do you mean? And there's, I think, where At World's End really fucked up was there's also a character or two, that Asian dude whose name I forget, the Council of Pirates, like a lot of things that could have worked just didn't, and you know, that was one of them. The aesthetic was gloomy. It just didn't work out. Like, I still love the movie only because, you know, I love like the last 30 minutes to death, and I love like a lot of little things spurts throughout. Like, I love like the ship scene where all the ships are, well, I don't want to spoil the movie, but there's a lot of great stuff in there. And then they made a 4th movie, and this is kind of like the 4th movie I don't even remember. So I can't really talk about it, but like at this point in time I was like, okay, now people can start talking about how you know, that this franchise is too big. But it was like, people were saying how like, oh, this is like the best Pirates of the Caribbean movie since the first one. I was like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? The second one is gold, and the third one, minus its flaws, is actually a really good film. And then it was like, okay, the 5th one, but this is like the finale one, so it's like, with people who are gonna argue that there might be more, whatever. But let's say for now, this is the big finale. So 5 films, you know, for AAA blockbuster movies, like 5 movies is not unheard of. There's fucking 5 Twilight movies, so I think we can have, and those came out like in a gap of like 6 or 7 years. So, like, why are we talking, like, Pirates of the Caribbean at least was spread out like over 2 decades. 5 movies in 2 decades is not that bad, from 2003 to 2017. So like a decade and a half, I should say. So that's not that bad. So that's like 1 in every like 3 years. Yeah, but that's not that bad, in all honesty. So now when people make that argument though that there's too many of them, now I'm just kind of like, yeah, there was too many of them. But like the 5th one, like, I have a review out for it. It was a fun movie, and there was a lot of like little things where they, obviously it's different writers, because they really didn't seem to respect like some of the core things about the original trilogy. Like even like the closure like of Will's character, and like just like little nuance, like how Jack Sparrow was treated, how a lot of things, and it was just kind of like, we don't fucking give a shit anymore. But it still had a lot of really good moments. It was still really entertaining. It was a really fun movie. I don't think it's like an amazing movie, but it's like borderline great. And I think I had a lot of fun with it. Like, it was kind of harmless. Like, you know, it wasn't like how it came out before, where it was like another Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and oh Jesus, let's all flock to it. It was just kind of like, okay, We got one more left in the tank. It's the finale. Here we go. Like, it felt a lot different. And that's kind of the way it was presented, too. But, like, as a franchise as a whole, like, okay, so we got amazing movie, a damn pretty good movie, the third one that, like, is kind of forgettable, like, let's say, just because I don't remember it, but let's say, I don't remember it being a bad film, though. Like, it was alright to, like, pretty good. So, yeah. And then, like, a pretty solid finale. That's, in my mind, a good franchise. Not a bad movie in there. But people talk about Pirates of the Caribbean like it, like, just shit it in their cornflakes or something. And I'm just like, what the, like, why do we, like, just roll Pirates of the Caribbean like it's like, fuck it, like, whatever. And when we bring up, like, movie trilogies and, like, really good, like, when we have all these conversations, it's like, I feel like I'm the only one throwing Pirates of the Caribbean into, like, the, like, drawing. It's kind of like, it's just sad. Like, I really fucking like the second and first movie, and the third one, like, is really good too. Like, damn good trilogy. Like, I'd put it up there with all the other really good trilogies. But it's like, whenever I'm the guy doing that, people are just like what? Like, and I hate that I have to, like, explain it. Like, it's not, I really feel like it's a movie that, or a franchise that people just didn't really give a chance. Like, for me, like, if you marathon those 3 movies, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I felt like a lot of, like, the core elements and, like, the characters, like, people were just like, oh yeah, that guy without the eyeball, that guy, the midget guy. But it's like, if you learn these characters, if you learn about Mr. Gibbs, he is a character from each, minus the last film, but in each movie, he does a damn, like, people be like, oh, fucking Landau from Star Wars is a great character. He's had such camaraderie with Han Solo and all these things. I'm just like, people don't fucking talk about Jack Sparrow and Mr. Gibbs' fucking relationship. I think they have, like, one of the best movie friendship chemistries of all time. But no, nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about how James and Orrington went on this, like, 3-movie epic, like crusade. Nobody wants to talk about how, like, the dynamic between these characters who, like, hate each other, like, and love each other, like, at the same time. And they have all these different things, and, like, they will, like, go to hell and back and kill them and do all these things. It's like, people just don't give a shit about it. And I don't know why. Like, all because of some fucking crab woman, like, that ruined the whole franchise. That whole Calypso storyline was stupid. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on Pirates of the Caribbean, why people should stop shitting on it, but whatever. Anyway, thank you guys for listening as always. You are the best. I'll see you tomorrow with another episode of Good Morning Soul. And until then, with that, I leave you.